Right now, global industries are accelerating their push to secure the minerals needed to build the next generation of energy technology. Millions of new batteries, wind turbines, and solar grids require millions of tons of raw materials over the next decade. This map visualizes the distribution of global critical mineral reserves. You can clearly see massive deposits of copper, platinum group metals, and manganese heavily concentrated across the African continent, far outstripping many other global regions. But locating rich geological deposits is only the first step in a very long chain. Extracting these materials requires the physical power to move millions of tons of earth. If you lack the heavy, reliable infrastructure to run the machines and transport the rock, the minerals stay in the ground. At this scale, the energy transition is limited by a physical bottleneck: the current lack of high-capacity, integrated logistical networks. This gap is the primary focus of the 2026 Africa Energy Forum, where industrial planning is transitioning from policy discussions into a pipeline of multi-billion-dollar physical projects. The era of short-term, speculative capital flows is being replaced by a wave of execution-focused private investment. We are seeing a shift toward funding the actual delivery of heavy industry. This investment wave is targeting a massive scale of bankable infrastructure, from transmission expansion and mining logistics corridors to port upgrades. In countries like Zimbabwe, the bar for entry has risen, with new rules requiring foreign investors to commit at least $20 million and create hundreds of local jobs. Investors have found that isolated projects are too vulnerable to failure. To secure long-term returns, they are now building entire industrial ecosystems. The foundational layer of an industrial economy is industrial energy security, the establishment of a constant, unbreakable supply of baseline electricity. To solve historical reliability issues, private capital is pouring into both traditional baseload generation and massive, grid-scale renewable energy facilities stretching out across the landscape. Generating that power is only half the equation. It requires extensive transmission grid expansion to physically deliver high-voltage electricity to remote industrial mining operations. Without this reliable base layer of electricity, megamines simply cannot operate their heavy machinery. The entire global supply chain freezes right at the source. Once power is secured, the priority is establishing mining logistics corridors. These dedicated routes are designed to move bulk extracted ore. Engineers are upgrading rail and ports exclusively to handle green supply chains, keeping critical battery minerals moving without bottlenecking civilian traffic. South Africa acts as the continent's primary industrial anchor for this exact strategy. The country is actively integrating its reliable energy generation with major rail upgrades, moving massive quantities of mining output directly to the coast. To defend this domestic build-out, South Africa is aggressively protecting its local manufacturers. The government recently raised steel import duties to as high as 30% to block cheap foreign materials from undercutting local suppliers. These integrated rail lines and modern port terminals function as the physical arteries of the operation, making Africa's mineral wealth accessible to the global market. This infrastructure allows for beneficiation. That is the economic process of taking raw extracted dirt and processing it locally into higher-value industrial products, rather than simply exporting the raw material. For decades, large-scale beneficiation was economically difficult. But by successfully fusing reliable baseload power with highly efficient logistics, running complex processing plants right next to the mines is now financially viable. A synchronized system like this directly supports the expansion of downstream industries. We are seeing this newly integrated infrastructure facilitate growth in sectors like automotive electrification and local technology deployment. The long-term impacts of these multi-billion-dollar projects extend far outward from the extraction site. They drive up overall manufacturing competitiveness, multiply export values, and create massive, permanent employment. By successfully engineering this interconnected trinity of power, mining, and freight, Africa secures the capital and infrastructure needed to process its own resources. The continent is actively forging its own permanent industrial sovereignty.